Live from the Mainstream Cannabis Media Empire, I'm Travis Lippert, CEO of Veedverks Unlimited Limited, better known as Veedverks.
And I'm Michael Miller, International Business Development Manager for Panacea.com. And beautiful, beautiful. Well, I guess, it's Louisville, Colorado, but soon to be Golden, Colorado. 43,000 square foot facility. We're moving in as we speak. Hopefully by March 31st, we'll be ripping and roaring in that facility.
Outstanding.
We hope to have you there as well.
Well, let's keep talking about it.
Yep.
When we left last time, I was preparing to drive across Kansas to go to a meeting with the Kansas Department of Agriculture.
Right.
And since I've been pulled over for my license plate in Kansas before, I brought the Ghost with me so that if they
are you really letting him out again?
Huh?
I thought he followed me home.
But I made it.
Wait, explain that though.
There's a ghost trapped in here. His name's Dieter. He's in the haunt industry.
Well, haunt industry.
Yeah,
I love that.
He used to be a dodo.
Yeah,
dodo
but
jogger.
Well, you're not. I mean, see how it's wrapped. It's wrapped with this metal wiring. All right. So if you did get pulled over, they would have to undo that.
Yeah.
That's the funniest part of it all. Sorry, Dieter.
I aspire someday to get that on film of cops cutting this thing open. And then I'm totally going to edit in a ghost later.
A ghost coming out. Yeah, I love it.
So it turns out, though, that I wasn't the one that was getting hassled. It was actually you and your people who are getting hassled. And this is actual, real live news here, folks. Thanks for joining Camino and Tina Williams, Jenny Gold. Hopefully we'll have somebody from the AP tuning in here pretty soon. And so tell us what happened. It made the news.
How would you, Jamie? Would you like Dr. Jamie Baumgartner?
I should also, by the way, say that we have with us in studio Brandon Pitcher from Blue Circle, and on the Skype here we've got Dr. Jamie Baumgartner from Panacea Life.
Yeah, CEO there.
And you guys were intimately involved with this news, this big news,
right.
And so this is I guess you don't really want to make the news like that, but this is a rare opportunity where you can hear it straight from the source.
Right.
This is the real deal about what happened in Oklahoma. So,
I mean, this is a groundbreaking case. I mean, this case right here could end up hopefully getting all states on board on taking hemp across state lines.
Yeah,
you know, some rules, actual rules and regulations.
Yeah.
But Jamie, Dr. Jamie Baumgartner, can you tell us your side?
Well, sure. I mean, so what I think between Brandon and myself, what we should do here is I can give you the high level of what started this whole thing, and then Brandon's got all the details in terms of what's transpired. So effectively, Brandon, myself, and Michael talked about our hemp needs for out of the 2018 harvest. And there were specific things we were looking for that we felt that we weren't going to be able to achieve by going with our local sources here in Colorado. And so Brandon had resources in Kentucky that would allow us to bring in high quality hemp to support our dietary supplement manufacturing business. So back in April or May, we set a futures contract to buy a 120 to 150,000 pounds of processed hemp out of Kentucky. And so we've been working on trying to make sure that we've got the quality controls in place. The state of Kentucky certified the crop, and then we worked on getting the shipment to start last week. And so effectively, the shipment left Kentucky. And again, Brandon talked about the details about the manifest and permissions that were sought. And the shipment was stopped in a small town outside of Tulsa in Oklahoma, at which point the shipment was seized by the local authorities. And 4 drivers that were accompanying the shipment have been incarcerated, or excuse me, not incarcerated. They've been put in jail, and up until today have not been charged with any crime. And so we have extensive documentation that this is hemp. It's not marijuana. The authorities have no idea what the differences are between hemp and marijuana. And the initial news broadcast was that 18,000 pounds of marijuana had been seized in Oklahoma, and it was the biggest drug bust in the history of the state. Now, I think what we should do is start combing through the details, and Brandon, if you'd But I think you've got a lot of the details that actually substantiate what the shipment is and the process and the extreme process we actually took to make sure that everything was above the law and compliant with local authorities and federal authorities.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, we had all the paperwork and documentation from the Kentucky Department of Agriculture, from the genetics, all the way through harvesting. We had over 60 COAs that we provided to each batch, which was way more than we have to legally
Certificate of
provide.
analysis,
Yeah.
the cannabinoid profile.
Correct. The cannabinoid profile showing that the THC levels were below legal limits. And we provided all the documentation as necessary from each state, from the permits from Colorado to Kentucky, showing where they were going to be picked up and dropped off. From what I understand, all paperwork was audited from the Oklahoma state authorities and checked out. So all the paperwork is in order, but they have not released the crop as of this time. And today at 3 p.m. there should be some type of trial for the people that they have detained so far.
So they pulled over a semi full of
Yes, industrial
hemp.
hemp. Yes, from Kentucky.
Yeah.
The Kentucky State Police have actually been to the facility that the hemp came from and checked it out.
Yeah.
Everything all checked out, all above board. They did that yesterday morning, and on behalf of Oklahoma State authorities, I believe, to check everything out, and everything was there. Paperwork was there. It was hemp. Everything is above board, and should be good to go. I don't know what would be the holdup on the Oklahoma side, other than some details that I don't understand.
And there was so they arrested 4 guys?
Yeah, 4
people?
guys. There were 2 truck drivers and 2 a company called Patriot Shield, which I believe you're going to have on later on the show. So I don't want to give up all the details for them later, but they'll give you all the details on the shipping and the paperwork they got and how they got, why they chose the route they chose and everything. Because there's a lot of questions for that, I've heard, but I'd rather leave them to answer that. But from yeah, so it came again from Kentucky. They went through Oklahoma, got pulled over with 18,000 pounds of hemp. They had them in boxes that had candy labeling on it, which probably shouldn't have been done. They should have ripped that labeling off, which they're doing now for all future loads. But they just bought reused boxes. They didn't even think about it.
Why would you? It's hemp.
Right, correct. And it was cheap, but it also had other labeling and batch numbers on each box. We have COAs to each box,
Right.
And so we also have kept back samples from each one of those boxes. So if the test results come back, we can also have ours tested per batch sample, showing that this is what the test results come back as, even if theirs were to be way off.
Sure.
If something was to come back way high or something, we know something's been tampered with.
Right.
So hemp is cannabis sativa L with less than 0.3% delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol on a dry weight basis, according to federal law. It's signed the Farm Bill of 2018 made that very clear, and it also made it clear that you can transport hemp from a legal hemp state to another hemp state.
Yes.
It's to me, like, for viewers out there, here's a visual aid. This is what industrial hemp looks like. This is Primo Industrial Hemp. This is from Maven Hemp. Shout out to Zev.
Good friend
Barnett.
Zev. What's up, Zev?
Hello, Zip.
But and then this is Critical Mass from Diego's. So,
Well, you know what?
So Travis, when you take a look at that, so first off, the bud sizes are going to be different. But if you actually pinch that between your forefinger and your thumb, the oil content on the cannabis is going to be much higher than actually on the hemp, right?
Yep.
So at the very least, you've got the pinch test.
Are you sure that's not? I think we need a taste test. I really believe that.
that's pretty.
That's nice looking.
Yeah, I like Diego's.
But the hemp today, I mean, it's very, I have a hemp retail store in Indiana, and we sell hemp that looks just like the buds that he just showed, the critical mass. You wouldn't know the difference by look. It's covered in resin. It's very, 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 very stinky. I mean, it smells like a dispensary when you walk in.
Sure.
But that's, it's fully legal, compliant. We have the documentation. Mm-hmm. It's shipped across state lines.
Sure.
Have no problem putting it on the retail shelves in Indiana. Why we have issues shipping here, I don't know. Other than they might be, wanting something more out of it than it is.
I think some people might feel that they're backed into a corner and they're going to, what scares me is they're going to perpetuate the lie that they've already put out there.
We would hope not. I hope that there's no dirty dealings or tampering with product. I mean, you've heard stories about that in the past.
Sure.
But that's again why we have batch samples back for any kind of situation like this, where if somebody was to tamper with it, I mean, all the boxes have been open. The environment's gotten to them. Who knows what's happened to the cannabinoid profiles from before they left? I mean, you can they're pretty fragile. You can alter them. And they can change, and so who knows how they've been keeping it, storing it, temperatures,
Sure.
all these things. They won't give us the details that we've been asking as of yet.
So, gentlemen, I think one of the things that's come out of this, I mean, we're working frantically to ensure that these drivers are released and not charged, and of course, from a business standpoint, we want our hemp, right. And so we can actually create our products, right? But I think that the critical issue here is that there's not knowledge or training with these local authorities. So they don't know what they're dealing with. And one of the things that Brandon, myself, and the other individuals or businesses involved are working to try and do is to make sure that there's some type of open book or some type of training for these individuals. So the chief of police is doing his job, okay? Yeah. However, the lack of cooperation or the lack of putting into place something to really resolve the situation, I think is where we're really frustrated. And right now, I think it'd be pretty difficult to get new drivers to actually take another shipment from Kentucky, trying to get out here to Colorado.
Yeah, that actually is true. We've been trying to, we still have more product there to get to you guys, and this company is kind of at a standstill now because you have their drivers locked up, and it also puts a little damper on other people who would like to do shipping. I work with several logistics companies who were very excited since the Farm Bill was passed to be able to get into this industry, and now they're kind of getting this kind of backwards lukewarm feeling about this may not be the right thing to do yet, and we don't have the clarity that business needs to move forward. Especially across the country. And this is already happening. It's going on every day. Products are being shipped everywhere. So we need some kind of clarity across state lines and nationally to stop this from happening and wrongfully imprisoning people for something that we have full compliance with.
Yeah.
I'm impressed that you guys are going through that much material. That is amazing.
Well, we've got a couple more semis behind that. How bad do we need that, Dr. Jamie Baumgartner? I mean, all serious. I mean, we're out.
Yeah, so right now our business is a standstill because we're out of hemp. So we actually timed our production to work with Brandon to make sure we had that shipment in, and the 150,000 pounds that we're trying to work to get from Kentucky to Colorado will take us through August, early September. And so by this time next year, in terms of 2019 harvest, sorry, I keep on forgetting it's 2019, we anticipate that we're going to need about 350 to 400,000 pounds as opposed to this year being 120, 150. So, it's what this demand has to do with is people recognizing this is an alternative health treatment and actually trying to use that to come back and restore their bodies back to a healthy state. And that's really what it's all about, is a product that does not get you high, does have tangible benefits for a variety of different conditions, and that's what's really driving the demand in terms of what we need in terms of biomass to be able to process.
It's a lot. I'd be lying if I wasn't just a little bit envious. I can't believe it. Wow, that's you guys are crushing it.
Yes, 100%. By the leadership of Dr. Jamie Baumgartner and the fantastic staff that we have there. I mean, our machines don't stop. They're extracting. Well, unfortunately, now we're at a standstill, and we need to remedy that situation as soon as possible.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's a great thing they're doing. I mean, the working with Panacea has been very, very wonderful. Good company. They make great products. You know, we sell their products out of our store in Indiana, and it's starting to get traction. So, I mean, I think they have a good future. It's just a matter of getting through a few of these humps, you know, and we look forward to working with them.
Sure.
So you said at 3 o'clock today, there's going to be a hearing?
There's a hearing. This will be the first one with the guys, and I'll let Bo, when he gets on, and the attorney, also be an attorney that's working with this, who'll come on later today as well, to explain more of the legal side of it. But yeah, isn't it? Bo, one of the owners of Patriot Shield, the trucking company, will be on, and he'll explain what they think's happening and what's going on with the guys. He's had direct contact with them on a regular basis. I haven't been able to talk to them since they've been, you know, incarcerated or locked up. But I've been working with Bo on a daily basis, a couple times a day, just getting updated and figuring out what's going on.
Wow.
So he's going to walk in here pretty soon?
Who, Bo?
Yeah.
No, we have him. We have him
after
after Dr. Jamie Baumgartner.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, we do.
I'll get it together one of these days.
Yeah, he's actually flying to Colorado today, so hopefully they'll all get together and figure out a strategy.
Right.
Well,
any last words, Dr. Jamie Baumgartner?
Michael, you can call me Jamie. That's fine. Well, you know, look. I mean, like I said, and I'll keep on saying it, we're getting reporters calling us 3 or 4 a day to figure out what's going on. Our number one priority is to make sure that these individuals get out of prison. Excuse me, jail. And then again, as a business leader, with what Brandon and I are trying to accomplish is to ensure we've got the biomass. And we've got a clear direction on how we can transport material from a state like Kentucky or Nevada or wherever to Colorado, because there are going to be new genetics, new plants, new properties that we need to get a hold of from different states and different growers. So there's clearly not a clear direction from the Departments of Transportation at the state level about how we have the right documentation. And again, if you see the stack of papers that Bo and Brandon have put together, it's impressive. It's probably the best documented shipment I've ever seen in terms of the number of certificates of analysis, the state's Department of Agriculture signing off on it. So the manifest is incredible, but still we don't have a clear pathway to transport material. So I'd say that's out of all of this, assuming that we can get these fellows out of jail and we can get our hemp back. What's going to be good that comes out of it is a clear direction on the documentation that's needed and a procedure for being able to transport this valuable commodity from state to state.
Yeah, it's very much needed. Appreciate that, Jamie. And we want the precedent to be set right for the industry right now, because if it goes the wrong way, it's going to be bad for everyone.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more.
Well,
no.
Jamie, kick him off.
Thanks so much for being on. I don't think we haven't mastered Skyping two at once. You want to try?
Hey, let's try it.
Hey, stay there. Are you busy right now, Jay? I know you're always slammed. But can you hold on a minute?
For this, if it actually helps us make traction here, you bet.
No.
Let me see if give me 1 second to
get Bo on.
And let's see if this works. Okay, let's try it.
I love live podcasts. I won't say live TV because it's almost like it. You know, when we grow up, we might be on live TV, our own station. Yeah,
I think I hung up on.
Yeah, what's that?
Hello?
Hey, Bo.
Yes, sir.
Hey, it's Travis Lippert. We got Michael Miller and Brandon Pitcher here, and I think I just hung up on Dr. Jamie Baumgartner.
Nice to meet you guys. Can you guys see me?
We cannot. Let us.
Let me see here. But let's see.
Hey, there we go. All right.
Let me tell Jamie
I'm
we
actually
apologize.
in the vehicle. I hope you guys can hear me. I'm getting ready to fly into Denver. I'll be flying out at 3:30 Eastern Time, landing 4:45 Mountain.
And where are you flying in from?
I'm flying in from, I live in Kalamazoo, but I'll fly out from Detroit.
Cool. I'm just doing a little bit of adjusting here on trying to make this picture look better. and then I'm going to pop you up here on the screen. Got you all zoomed in now. Here we go. Isn't technology great?
Gotta love it. Even though we dropped Dr. J.B. Baumgartner.
My bad.
Now I think I'm no longer the international marketing business development manager. I'm probably they might give me now Louisville and Superior.
Back to regional.
Yeah. I can tell you what, I've never had so much fun than working for Panacea.
I believe.
You know, they're a great group of people, all the way from the ownership, Leslie, to Jamie and Nick, how they run the operation, and really from the extractors to the fulfillment. It's really a class act operation.
I've had nothing but wonderful experiences with you guys.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
We got to figure out how you're going to come in our new facility with some kind of green technology.
Yeah, we'll work on that. That'd be another podcast. You know?
Yes.
So, Bo, you're with, tell me the name of the...
Patriot Shield.
Patriot Shield.
Patriot
I was
Shield.
thinking Warrior Shield.
Yes, sir.
And what does Patriot Shield do?
So Patriot Shield is comprised of veterans. We're a veteran-owned and operated company, and what we do is ancillary services in the marijuana industry. Whether that be security, we're applying for our state license in Michigan to do secure transportation. We are currently licensed to do security. We focus on the marijuana industry. What we were doing in this case was, as I believe Panacea knows, is there's oftentimes shipments get lost or stolen. So we were providing escort to a vehicle to ensure that the product arrived to its destination and had no one tampering with that product.
And
If you guys, Billy, also explain, you guys were coordinating transportation, logistics and all that for hemp shipments, working with states, and you called several of the states to figure out which ones are the right ones to travel through, which ones are not, and so they did a lot of preparation to help put paperwork together. It was more than just following a truck.
right.
Yes, sir, absolutely. So there's a lot of due diligence and coordination that is involved in what we do. And the reason we were going through Oklahoma, that's a huge question that everybody keeps asking. I see it in the news articles. We were traveling through Oklahoma because South Dakota, Nebraska, and Kansas all informed us that if we traveled through their states, they would seize shipments and detain those personnel carrying. So we called, when we reached out to Oklahoma's Department of Agriculture, and spoke with them and personnel at the weigh stations, they advised us that the laws were still being created, but they did have an industrial hemp program, and therefore was the friendliest state to the cause. So there seems to be a lot of cultivation of industrial hemp in Kentucky. As everybody knows, they grow a great product. Unfortunately, they had really hard rains this year, which devastated a lot of the crops. Either they flooded out or had mold issues. But either way, they still produced a lot of industrial hemp. And as everybody knows, the laboratories are in Colorado. That's the ground zero for this whole industry. So Oklahoma having connection with Colorado on that southeastern border was our only course of action to facilitate these transportation.
So were they waiting? You guys planned ahead with these guys that, hey, we're going to be coming through your state. Do you think that they were waiting for you?
I don't believe they were waiting. In fact, the truck made a wrong turn. They weren't supposed to be in Pawhuska. That was never on the route. They sorry about that, guys. People keep calling. The problem, they made a wrong turn, got turned around somewhere early in the morning, late at night, and ended up in Pawhuska, ran a red light, as I understand it, the only light in town, and which caused the traffic stop. Well, when the van pulled over with the truck, it automatically raised some suspicion. So we provided them with all the paperwork. There was 59 certificates of analysis, license of the cultivator in Kentucky, license of the processor, and we had correct bill of ladings. In fact, we went to exceed the bill of ladings. We put a page in each saran wrap on each piece in that truck. So there was a question about if this was labeled miscorrect to throw people off is just outrageous. And who in their right mind would transport marijuana into Colorado?
Yeah,
it
exactly.
Just doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense. And if anything, even if something did come back hot, my guys were hired to perform a legal service to provide the logistics for for this good. What industry can't have transportation in it? It's a necessity. You have to have transportation of this kind.
That is kind of true.
You have to. What happened? I mean, could you imagine an industry like you couldn't go to a gas station and go fill up? You had to go to the refinery. You had to drive to your local major city and hope you had a refinery in it. It just doesn't make sense.
No, it does not make sense.
So, I mean, we need to establish a precedent.
When he said, "Who in the right mind would transport marijuana into Colorado?"
are happening way too often.
Yeah, well, this is a big seizure. I was in Kansas when I saw it on the news, and I thought, wow, that's a lot of. I mean, they presented it when the biggest marijuana bust in history, and it's like,
oh, they had hard-ons.
Yeah,
they were so excited.
Wasn't there something about who was it that got it? The cop yelled at him and hung up the phone.
Oh, I was in the office at Panacea. One of our extractors called the sheriff.
Yeah. And
the police chief, I guess. Mm-hmm. And real nice. Had him on speaker, real nice. Can you tell us when you're going to release our hemp? We need it. And when are you? Well, first it was when are you going to release those innocent people?
Yeah.
He started screaming just off jump. And he goes, "You'll have to call the DEA," and slammed the phone down on us. Wow. And we were so nice. And then I thought, wow, there's a lot of fantastic law enforcement officers out there, but some aren't really that great at all. And then we have a police chief that's running a station, which is really scary. And then the four guys' lives are in this guy's hands. Right. And it just multiplies and multiplies how scary the scenario is there. I mean, we were so nice, and this guy just started ripping. It's just sad. It was really sad.
Yeah. Hey, Bo, well, maybe talk a little bit about Ross and David a little bit, and who they are, and what kind of people they are, so people can understand their background, and that's
yes. Yes, sir. So both Andrew Ross and David Dirksen are Marine Corps veterans. Andrew Ross I served with. That's how I met him. Andrew Ross and I we're in Scout Sniper platoon together. We got later moved to a security detail for the colonel. We were their personal designated marksmen for a tour to Iraq in 2009 and then a tour to Afghanistan in 2010. David Dirksen was a motor T operator. He was doing logistics in the Marine Corps. He was in transportation in the Marine Corps. Served in Afghanistan one tour. So I can vouch for both of these gentlemen to the character that they are. Both of them would give the shirt off their back to help a veteran. That's one of the things that we wanted to really do with Patriot Shield is we hire veterans. We help them with those transitions. They have these skills. This is what they did in Iraq and Afghanistan, and we pay them really well. We pay them extremely well to do what they do. And, as far as I'm concerned, we're all veteran brothers, and we got to look after each other. And there's the suicide rate on veterans right now is just outrageous. You know, if there's anything I can do for my, you know, men and women that served, those are brothers to me. I might not have ever met them, but those are brothers. Ross specifically, Marines don't leave Marines behind. And the fact that I've got 2 Marines sitting in a jail cell right now, I tell you what, I can't sleep. I'm so stressed out over this whole situation. I could physically vomit. I can't sleep. I can't eat. I can't even focus because we've got 2 innocent combat veterans sitting in a jail cell right now over the providing a legal service to a legal product that it's mind-numbing how I guess ignorant is the word I want to use. Just the fact that we got these 2 outstanding people of any character of sitting in a jail cell right now over this.
That's not right.
It's not
right at all.
Absolutely
so sad.
not right.
No. And can you explain a little bit about maybe the charges they're considering against them?
Yes, sir. The charges that are being brought against them today at 3 p.m. Central Time at Osage County Courthouse is the trafficking of a illegal substance, and they're facing 15 years to life if convicted.
Wow. Over an agricultural commodity.
Yes. Not even marijuana. You know, we have a very strong case. Providing all the GPS trackers and the paperwork, and we knew that someday we were going to have an encounter with law enforcement personnel, and it wasn't going to go our way. This is not the first time we've had encounters with law enforcement personnel. Usually they can use common sense and reasoning to make a determination if there's criminal intent at hand. You know, criminal intent. We have insurance and workman's comp, and we call ahead and do our due diligence and plan all this and have all of our paperwork and contracts in order, you know, just to cover ourselves in case of an instance like this. And we're thankful that we do all of that hard work to make sure that this is going to go our way. I'm confident that we can explain the situation and release that industrial hemp. What's infuriating is that the DEA is handling it right now, as I'm concerned, going federally for testing, and the government's shut down. How long is this going to take?
A long time,
evidently. It needs its product, and you know, these guys could be locked up for that entire duration. It's just a shame. This is a father of a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. I haven't seen their dad over this, and it's a mess.
Yeah, Bo, maybe tell us a little bit about what you understood. You told me about the testing protocols that you understood they've done so far to determine that it's marijuana or hemp. Can you explain some of that?
Yes, sir. So the reasoning they're bringing these charges against them is they have a reasonable doubt to understand that product is hemp, but there is marijuana in it, and they could tell. They were able to determine the difference by looking at it through a microscope. And I mean, to get correct, marijuana and hemp, those are not the correct usage of the term. It's cannabis sativa and cannabis sativa L, and the only differentiation is a percentage of THC per dry weight basis. It's the same plant. It's the same plant. And I think we know that, and in order to do that testing accurately, you're going to have to test on a parts per million chromatography machine. I'm not involved in the testing. I'm not a cultivator. I won't try pretend to know. I know everything on the subject, but I do know that you cannot determine whether something is cannabis sativa or cannabis sativa L by looking at it through a microscope.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
Seems like, you know, they're fishing a little hard on those tests, you know, and forcing us to go through this to maybe as a stall tactic or something else. I'm not quite sure why they would want to do this, but we could find other testing labs, other DEA-approved testing labs that we could move this along further, you know, that we could get the cannabinoid profiles tested to have to get this solved pretty rapidly. Like I said, we've tested each batch more than once. We have at least over 2 COAs for each one. So I mean, it's pretty clear. So if anything comes back, askew, we'll know something's been tampered with.
And then again, that's my biggest concern. Some people might feel like, wow, we made a mistake, and they know they made a mistake. They feel they're backed into a corner. And I'm not saying all law enforcement's the same, but I just don't trust them.
Yeah, it's hard to trust anyone right now, because especially it's so confusing. Nobody can give you clear answers of what's going on.
Well, they're making lie after lie after lie, or excuse. Now they're saying that the 4 veterans possibly switched out the hemp and put marijuana in the truck.
Yeah, they've had that rumor. I believe Bo's heard that too.
Yes,
it's not. I don't see how that's possible. To be honest with you, I was there when they loaded the shipment. It didn't. I don't see how. But I don't think that's the case. But I can see them fishing for more stuff, because after they found the paperwork and they went to the facilities in Kentucky and everything checked out and was above board, they had to find some reason that something is there. Even if there is nothing.
Right. That's scary.
Right. So, yeah, we've actually been told that an audit was done at the source, and it confirmed every COA that we have, and it's associated with that product. So they're saying to press charges that we would have had to swap out product, and if you were there for loading, you knew that you needed a forklift to move that product, and it was secured. And then, so we have GPS tags on our vehicle and our product. We can show where it was and where it was going and how fast it was moving, even the temperature of the product. So how is that even doable to mix in marijuana with the hemp? It's really out there. It's a really out there conspiracy.
I put a link to the GoFundMe page for these guys at they're sitting there in jail.
Thank you.
It's at
Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
He might be able to tell you something.
I'm sorry?
He's the one who started it, right?
So,
let Bo explain the GoFundMe page.
Yeah, could you explain the GoFundMe, what you got going on with this GoFundMe?
So just to clarify on that, David Savage, one of our Colorado director out there, started it. So that's the David on it. And the GoFundMe page is to help offset some of these legal expenses. We're understanding it's going to be a long time now, the testing, as well as possibly going after the state of Oklahoma for damages as these things incur. I mean, these guys have houses and families and dogs, and now the bills are racking up. And as a small business, we were able to get the ball going to come to the defense of these 2 veterans, these innocent veterans. However, to keep the fight going, we're going to need some support, and that's the purpose of the GoFundMe page. I've never done a GoFundMe page. In fact, I always used to joke, GoFundMe, how about you go to work? But I understand what they're for in situations like this now. I'm actually so appreciative there's an opportunity like this for us to raise some money. And we've started raising money for these gentlemen, and any little bit helps. I can assure you, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for posting that.
Well, I encourage everybody to, number one, share this video and spread the word. Amen. This is a big deal. We got 4 innocent people sitting in jail, 4 people who were doing normal business, transporting an illegal agricultural commodity with, they went to all the trouble with, they've got all of the certificates of analysis. They told the authorities that they cleared it with the state authorities, and they couldn't have done anything any better except, I guess, run a red light. But
if they really did they?
Well, I don't. I got pulled over in Kansas for nothing.
Well, so, there you go. Okay, you and Dieter.
It's a license plate.
Yeah, for my license plate, I got pulled over.
And what was wrong with your license plate?
It said Colorado.
Okay.
That sounds about right. You know, every time Ross comes out to visit me, he's got his Colorado plate, and it's got to stick out like a sore thumb to any law enforcement personnel, because of the, you know, I do understand that trafficking is a crime, and you know, that's not a business that we have ever been associated with illegal drug trafficking. You know, we pride ourselves in being compliance officers and help mold these laws from the ground up. I've been active in Michigan's laws and working with townships and cities. We pride ourselves on being compliant, knowing, and helping our clients with that as well. So when these guys got pulled over, they were trying to explain Oklahoma law and the 2018 Farm Bill to the officers arresting, because, you know, they didn't have the information. We did. We did our due diligence. It explicitly protects interstate transportation. It's a necessity for the industry, and we need somebody from the government to come down and really make this a deal. I think what we need on our end, because Oklahoma's handling it with a microscope, and that scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. You cannot tell by looking at hemp whether it's hemp or not. You have to test it. I mean, that is the distinction. Is that
it smells like it, looks like it, doesn't mean it's it in this case, and it's not it, which is a travesty.
Genetically and scientifically, it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, you just have an artificial ruling of 0.3%.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be worthless to you if it were marijuana. You guys couldn't do anything with it. Like, why would you? It's like the biggest. It makes absolutely no sense. I can't believe. And I also have to question now that we've got these dogs that are out there sniffing cars, and they're giving now these false positives because they're smelling a legal agricultural commodity.
Yeah.
And so it makes me wonder if any indication from a drug dog could be trusted now, or it could be.
Well, a lady yesterday, I think Miami or Fort Lauderdale in the airport, was arrested, detained at least for hours because she had CBD shampoo.
Right.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it was Hannah is her name, and I believe going through customs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean we've had in our store, we've had the cops come in our retail stores in Indiana where we sell the flower, and show them and ask them questions like, we're actually across the street from the police station. You know? So I have to ask them, well, will people get arrested if they take this out, or if they're smoking it in public? You know, and they're like, well, we will test it. You know, and I'm like, well, it's going to happen.
It's going to. There you go again.
It's some thing in your binary test, and I go, but how are you going to, are you going to arrest people? You're going to leave them alone? How's that going to happen? And then as of now, nobody's gotten any trouble, because they have the right packaging and the QR codes, which we have to make legal in Indiana.
Yeah.
But what happens if somebody puts something else in there?
Sure.
Like they're claiming we did in this case, which it doesn't make any sense right now.
No, it doesn't. They're just that's what's scaring me.
Laws
they're kind of
change.
making up things.
Yeah. And we talk about dogs, and that's where it started. So we have to eliminate training dogs to sniff for cannabis, because if we legalize hemp, it's gonna throw everything off.
Yeah. Yep. Let's find them something better to do.
Yeah.
All these narc dogs.
There are good dogs, good narc dogs, but I think. I don't know.
Yeah, we agree. There's got to be some sort of...
No, all narc dogs are bad.
Love dogs. Not a fan of narc dogs.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. We need better regulation on this, because apparently just naming that transportation is protected under the Farm Bill isn't enough. If there's better guidance on how to do something, we would love to give our opinions and work on creating a solution for the industry. That's what we really need. Unfortunately, we got guys being martyrs for our industry right now. We got these veterans locked up, poor people, and we just need the ability to do this legally with better guidance, and then not only that, but testing procedures too. Like, how do you handle a situation to determine that it's not marijuana or hemp? Because a drug dog's not going to do it. A binary test is not going to cut it. It's going to lead you to these exact same situations. And it ties up a lot of useful resources. And everybody knows the government's shut down. But, I mean, wasting resources is the last thing we need to do, especially over industrial hemp. It's industrial hemp.
Has anybody called Mitch McConnell about it yet? I mean,
yes, sir. I've reached out to Mitch McConnell's office and Senator Rand Paul and left messages, and also submitted a letter through their websites, trying to get a hold of them. We have not received any feedback or calls from either of them yet.
I'd want to take your call just because you wouldn't be talking about the wall. Just give me something else to talk about.
Well, we know that they're very well aware in Kentucky what's going on in the situation. You know, it's gone up the chain, and so we're
and you know, we
good.
Yeah, we hope that it's going to get their attention, especially since this is a legally sourced product. The reason we're doing this transportation now is because we had to wait for several months for the Kentucky Department of Agriculture to certify this product. Am I correct?
Yes. Yeah. It took a while. We had to get all our test results and everything approved and everything in the line, got all the paperwork done, you know, and then once that was done, we were ready to ship, you know, and then the holidays hit, so we could have probably shipped a week or two before that, but, you know, once the holidays came in, slowed things down, but we had everything ready to go.
This had to be the most compliant shipment of hemp in the history of hemp in America.
It might be. I'm sure there's other people who've done other things to get products across state lines through giving other permits and stuff. But I mean, we've done the best to our ability, I think, to get it done, and we've shown, I think, without benefit of a doubt, that what we shipped from that dock was legal hemp from Kentucky, and I don't see any reason why it wasn't what they pulled over in Oklahoma.
Right. Well, like Bo alluded to earlier, who in their right mind would bring in 18,000 pounds of marijuana into Colorado? I can, at half the dispensaries right now, you can get an ounce for $70. You know?
It makes no sense. There's no logical reason why anybody would be transporting marijuana, I think, into Colorado. Maybe the opposite, trend happens a lot, but I don't see any reason for that. And I also don't see any reason why anybody would mix marijuana in industrial.
Oh, that's just stupid.
You're ruining your product.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what are you doing? You're the world's worst drug dealer now.
Yeah. World's worst drug dealer. That's funny.
Especially with the, and just none of it adds up. I think we're blessed to know that you gentlemen did all of the due diligence, the state of Kentucky certifying everything. I mean, even when they did the audit on the source and found out that everything confirmed matched up perfectly with the paperwork we had. Everything seems to be coming together. If there was a shipment that was to be pulled over, thank God it was this one, because like you said, this might be the most compliant shipment of industrial hemp that has ever hit the road. So I'm eager to see how this plays out, because I'm confident it's going to play out in our favor. And it's going to set a precedence for the industry, is what we really need.
Well, it needs to play out fast, and faster than evidently it's going to. At this point, I mean, every day that these guys sit in jail for not breaking the law is a travesty, and they need to let them out. This is ridiculous. It's we got veterans, we got people with kids, young kids, 2, 5 years old. Right. It's not right, and it is really. Yeah. I'm
pissed.
And I'm heartbroken for these guys.
Yeah, so am I.
I'm feeling a little bit vindictive. I want to. Does Oklahoma have a hemp program in 2019? Or
they harvested their first legal hemp in 2018. So I mean, they already have a hemp program where they're growing it and harvesting it. I don't get this, and they're supposed to be growing a few thousand acres this year.
You know what I was thinking about coming in here, and it's pretty sad. America doesn't have a constitution anymore. It really doesn't. You're supposed to be you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
You know, and I think American liberties are falling by the wayside now. Yeah. We're becoming a police state. And there's not much difference now between us and maybe a Russia and a China. You know, you do what the government says. The government does not represent the people of the United States of America any longer. They represent big pharma, big corporations. There are some good politicians out there still. I think we elected a great governor here.
Yes,
yeah,
you did.
But unfortunately, until someone can run for office where you don't have to put out money, I think it's going to continually get worse.
Yeah, and you know how this was handled even too. It took me about 12 hours to locate where both David and Ross were. Yeah. They were put in handcuffs, put in a car. Andrew specifically asked the cop if he was under arrest. They said no, and they took him to a field somewhere, and then took their phones. We had no communication with them. We had no way of finding them. Our lawyer was calling the different police departments and trying to figure it out, and they were giving him vague answers, giving him the runaround. And you know, if somebody's being detained for something, you know, what am I being charged with? I know there's a certain time frame they're allowed to hold people, but anybody could have used common sense and reasoning to determine that was hemp paperwork. This is hemp. All the paperwork is in order. They did a DOT inspection. Everything was good to go. And then they still arrested based on a dog sniff. The dog hit on the truck. And then through their ability to look at this product through a microscope, they were able to determine that it was marijuana. You know, none of this makes sense. Especially, I'm sure to you guys that are much more familiar with the testing. But I do know that having all the paperwork in order, you shouldn't be able to seize a shipment based on running a basic traffic stop, running a red light. That's outrageous. It's outrageous how they're handling this.
I couldn't look myself in the mirror if I were one of these policemen responsible for putting them in jail or keeping them in jail. Surely they know by now that they have messed up. Let them out.
Well, that's what's the scariest part. They're not going
ridiculous.
They're going to, I think, manufacture. I don't know. We'll see.
Somebody go make a sign in wherever Pawhuska, Oklahoma is.
I'm sure
I hardly knew you.
Yeah, I flew into Pawhuska last week, the day after we learned about it. You know,
they have an airport.
Well, Tulsa does.
Okay.
You know, drive in. Yeah. But Pawhuska, a pretty small town. But spent 4 hours in court. But maybe that'll be the next conversation when we get the attorney on. But I guess, Bo, do you got anything else you think you need to add to this conversation?
You know, honestly, gentlemen, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for letting me get out there and defend these gentlemen and our company publicly. And we need to get these guys out. We need to get these charges dropped. But what we really need to do is set a precedent for the industry on how to handle these testing procedures and transportation. And that way we can facilitate, you know, a legal transportation. We need to figure this out, because a binary test on a product to see if it has THC isn't enough. I handed you 59 certificates. I didn't personally. They handed you 59 certificates of analysis that say this product has a legal amount of THC. So a dog hit to testing and then verifying through a microscope, they set us up for failure. And we really need to help establish those testing procedures and pullover procedures moving forward. But thank you, gentlemen, from the bottom of my heart. I know Ross and Dave would say thank you too. Unfortunately, I'm not the pretty one or the articulate one, but you know, I'm doing the best I can, and I know they know that, and I know they thank you as well.
Well, you did a great job. These guys must be super articulate. Yeah, thank you, Bo, for coming on here and giving us some more detailed information about what is truly just a wrong that needs to be righted ASAP. I can't believe these guys are sitting in jail, and that they could be sitting in there until the government reopens.
Right.
This is it's disgusting.
It is. It might as well have been apples.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Soybeans.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, it's really sad.
Well, thanks again, Bo. You guys got any more question for you?
No, I just, good luck today, at 3 o'clock, we're here for you. And when you get in, I guess when you're in state, we'll give me a call. I'll come see you.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Thanks so much
sir.
for being on, Bo.
Thank you.
All
Thanks
right.
for having me.
Take care.
Bye, guys.
Take care, man. Did you get the Skype address?
Now, let's see.
Let's get the attorney on.
Let's get the attorney on.
I love this. We're kind of broken up a little bit, but
we're dropping knowledge. This is news. There's no.
My eyes started watering actually when Bo was talking about the two guys, all four guys, but the two that are Marines sitting there in prison. Given potentially, they could have been killed any time on these tours, protecting our country and our liberties. Yeah. And when he said, we don't leave no man behind, it just hit me wrong. I mean, hit me right. It was sad, and it's true. We've got right there that Skype address to the bottom one. And what can you tell us about the attorney while we're bringing him in?
Frank Robison. He's been a cannabis attorney for a while, but again, I like letting people kind of tell about themselves more than I do. But he's been working with us for at least maybe about a year and a half now on a few things, and he helped set up with Patriot Shield and then worked on the contracts. And he also has been to Pawhuska. He's been working with the DA and the local law officials about what's been going on, and he can explain some of the conflicting stories they've been giving him. And maybe even some of the deals that they made last week and have changed over the weekend.
Is he expecting me to call him?
Yes. It just really pisses me off when the DA says, okay, we've got a deal one afternoon, the next morning everything's good, and then boom. It's just...
Hello.
Hello, this is Frank Robison.
Hi, Frank. This is Travis Lippert, and I'm here with Michael Miller and Brandon Pitcher. And
hi, gentlemen. How are you?
See if you can put on.
We're pretty good. We've been talking about this ordeal in Oklahoma, and it's a bad deal. So, is there? I got your audio. Are we gonna?
I gave Brandon my video, my Skype video. I don't know why video isn't showing up on my cell phone. Maybe. I was expecting to get the call via my Skype on my computer, not my cell phone.
Well, how about I'll hang up and somehow try you again, or maybe you could try calling me from your phone if it shows up on Skype.
I could do that. Could you shoot me somehow shoot me your Skype address?
Yes, I will do that.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Wonder what my Skype address is.
We never Skype ourselves, do we?
No. Here we go. Let's see if this works. I bet when he calls me, it's going to try and pick up on the Skype that my computer doesn't play nice with. Thanks for joining, everybody, by the way. We had a ton of people watching.
Yeah, thank you so much for participating. This is one of the most important things that's happened in our industry for quite a while, And I kind of like that sound. The Skype sound. Now, Dieter, we got him.
Turn up.
There we go.
You see me now?
Oh, wait, what happened?
We could.
What happened?
It worked there for a second.
How about now?
There
we go.
There we go. Okay.
I'm going to work on the cropping here.
I don't see you guys, but that's all right.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that I've got two versions of Skype on this computer that between the two of them, they just make things difficult. but I don't think you're going to be able to see us. But trust us, it looks awesome.
All right, great. Okay.
Put your camera a
See
little
if I
lower.
can get a little bit more.
Oh, the address?
There we go.
Right here. Are you looking for his address? Right here.
There we go. Frank Robison. Okay. I'm going to put your name up here. So we've talked to Jamie Baumgartner from Panacea. Then we talked to Bo from Patriot Shield. And we're dropping some knowledge today about what's really going on with this situation and with this supposed seizure of marijuana in Oklahoma that we know is industrial hemp. And so rumor has it that you're an attorney. Is that?
That's correct. I have an attorney. I'm an attorney representing one of the parties that's involved in the shipment, and I've been in constant contact with the district attorney of the county that is charging the 4 individuals that have been in jail for about 6 days now, at least 6 days now.
Yeah, so maybe tell them a little bit about your experience with the DA and how it's kind of come about and from the beginning, maybe so the audience can understand, how things have unfolded over the last week.
So last week I thought we had a path to a easy and reasonable resolution. They were going to be testing the cannabis sativa L. Hemp and marijuana are both cannabis sativa L, although hemp and marijuana, as you and the audience know, tend to have different characteristics in terms of stalk and leaf and cannabinoid content and end use, whether it be consumption or whether it be to create industrial products. I mean, they do have, hemp has one track, marijuana has another, but at the end of the day, they're both cannabis sativa L, and the legal factor that determines the difference between cannabis sativa L is the THC concentration. If it's 0.3% or less THC on a dry weight basis, it's hemp. If it's greater than 0.3%, it's marijuana. That's what the law said. That's what the Farm Bill said 4 years ago. That's what the law the president signed this month, I believe January 3, currently says, and it rips it out of the controlled substance. And the current law rips hemp altogether out of the Controlled Substance Act. The DA last week gave me the impression that the product was on a path to be tested for the amount of THC in the cannabis sativa L, in the hemp. Yesterday, when I spoke with the state, it was not tested in a way that could determine the THC level in the hemp. It was tested in a way that she said that the state of Oklahoma's expert had determined that the cannabis sativa L was marijuana using a microscopic test, which is something I quite honestly have never heard of. I've been on the phone with the various PhDs that I work with as clients and as friends in this industry, and there is no such thing as a microscopic test to determine whether a plant of cannabis sativa L is hemp or marijuana. And then she said they also tested for the presence of THC. Yeah, but that's what they also did on the side of the road. They had a binary test. Sure, there's THC in hemp. I mean, there's small quantities of THC in hemp, and that's what hemp is. It's hemp. It's cannabis sativa L with very minute quantities of THC. And until we have a test such as a high-performance liquid chromatography test, something that would be a standard in the industry, we're not going to have clear knowledge, clear understanding that this is hemp, and that this is, that we're spending money, Oklahoma's spending resources, the parties involved are spending resources to get to an answer that's quite simple. What is the chemical composition of this plant? What is the quantity? What is the parts per million of THC? And let's use the right test, and that'll get us to the answer. And then this problem will, from my perspective, be very clear. The answers will be very clear. The answers are in the United States Code. Hemp is legal as long as it has 0.3% THC or less, and we got to do a test that will show what the level of THC is, and we haven't done that yet. And those tests are out there. And Colorado, Kentucky, I mean, apparently not in Oklahoma. And many other states have these tests as well.
We heard earlier that they may not get around to testing it until the government opens back up. Is that?
I heard that too. And so I think we as a group, we as an industry, we as stakeholders need to find a way to put the appropriate pressure point on individuals that will test this product using, again, for example, high performance liquid chromatography. Test this product, so that the state of Oklahoma will be satisfied that it is hemp and not marijuana. And we need to do that in a way, in a time frame before the government opens up. We just can't sit around and wait for the government to open up and wait for the DEA to be satisfied with a test. We need to find someone that will that the state of Oklahoma has worked that would be comfortable with the results of their test. I have names of laboratories that the DEA has referred me to in the past as laboratories that they work with. I would be happy to provide the state of Oklahoma with those, but I don't think that the state of Oklahoma is going to be satisfied with these laboratories unless the DEA is telling them that yes, we believe that laboratory is accredited, certified, what have you. But again, I mean, we need the state of Oklahoma to be comfortable with the test, and it's just not correct on so many levels that we wait till the government reopens for this to be resolved, for us to have clarity on whether or not this product is hemp, which we all know is hemp because it's been tested well over 100 times by accredited laboratories in various states.
Yeah, Frank, can you also maybe talk, what do you think may have changed from the time, talking to the DA last week where we had a clear pathway to get the hemp released and the people released to over the weekend where it's kind of, stagnant again or trying to keep, make a bigger case out of this than what it is?
I am not sure. I think they might have realized that they do not have the equipment to test the cannabis sativa in a way that they can determine the parts per million of THC. I am not sure. That is a mystery. That's a mystery to me. When I left Oklahoma last week, I was very comfortable and confident that this would be resolved quickly. This week, I am not. And again, as I've stated a few times during this conversation, we need to get Oklahoma comfortable with a lab and their testing procedures so that they understand that this product is hemp and that a certified lab, an accredited lab, that the DEA, state of Kentucky, state of Colorado, whoever they would be comfortable with, can show them that this is hemp and not marijuana. But I suspect, I don't know, they realize that they don't have the testing procedures and technology to make that determination.
So it seems like they would, I guess maybe it doesn't seem like they would do it, but I would want to let these guys out of jail while we figure it out. Among many other things, they're nonviolent people. They were driving, soybeans, basically, an agricultural commodity, just fully manifested with all of the certificates of analysis. Mm-hmm. They did everything that they were supposed to do, and I'm surprised. It boggles my mind that reason has not prevailed, at least to the extent that they could, let these guys go home to their family while they work it out.
You know what I don't understand? You mentioned that Oklahoma grew hemp last year. Mm-hmm. Who tested it?
Ironically, I read on one of my news blogs that Oklahoma is in the process of establishing testing procedures for hemp and marijuana as we speak. So they don't. So it appears. So again, I haven't taken a deep dive on the topic, but I just saw this within the last week or two that they don't have established testing procedures for cannabis yet, and that they were in the legislator was in the process of developing them.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I say too. A little bit of cart before the horse type of situation. And then then the folks that we're working with, 2 of which are decorated veterans, have spent a week in jail.
It's
mind-boggling.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking and mind-boggling.
Everybody, please spread the word about this. This is great.
Go to the GoFundMe
page. We have 4 innocent people, 2 combat veterans sitting in an Oklahoma jail indefinitely until they test this hemp and determine that it is in fact hemp.
Now, one thing I would like to say, we have, and I'm sure the owners of Panacea would allow us to do this, we have a waters testing machine in our facility. That's how we really take this industry. We want to make sure we're on point throughout the whole process. What if we took our waters testing machine to Oklahoma? Would they allow us to test it there for them?
I doubt, unless the DEA said that we think that is a adequate, a sufficient way to test this material, that they would accept that test that as a valid test. I think the state of Oklahoma is looking for the DEA to say we would stand behind the results of such and such a lab, or our lab in wherever, and what's located outside of Washington, D.C. That, I think, is what the state of Oklahoma at this point is looking for, which I personally think is unreasonable, given the fact that we've given them 60 certificate of analysis indicating from accredited and certified labs indicating that this is hemp, and we have backups to those COAs as well. It seems like, to me, from my perspective, they should assume the documentation that we have presented is correct, as opposed to not, given the testing procedures, the state of testing in the state of Oklahoma. We're working with cutting edge labs where they're working with antiquated technology.
Or technology that's not even useful in determining whether something is hemp or not. I mean, because is a magnifying glass or a microscope antiquated, or it's like...
It is. It's useless. It's actually so.
Dr. Jamie Baumgartner just texted in. Why don't they send some samples to the Colorado Med?
Yeah, there you go.
Right there, boom.
You can mail it.
Right.
One of the things I'm going to do today, in addition to contacting the various PhDs that I've contacted this morning, is contact various departments of agriculture and see what labs they would recommend, and ask Oklahoma to send the merchandise to those laboratories. Perhaps we would get the Med involved, but see, again, since this is hemp, I hesitate to recommend crossing the line to marijuana. I mean, we are in the world of hemp. We should stay in the world of hemp, from my perspective. Perhaps you're correct. Perhaps that's a good idea. But again, it's just not marijuana. It's hemp. It has 0.3% THC or less on a dry weight basis, period. And let's work with people that are familiar with that paradigm. Again, but that said, you might be correct. We might want to get marijuana laboratories involved. That might be a quick path to resolution.
Or there are hemp specific laboratories in Colorado too that, like, it wouldn't even have to go to
right.
There are dozens of labs around the nation.
Yeah.
Just got to get one approved through Oklahoma, I assume, right now.
Yeah, and that's like they could do it like that.
If they wanted
it's
to.
So stupid.
It seems
easy.
like it's more of a stall tactic.
It is. It is. I do not trust what's happening to our veterans and the other 2 guys there. I fear for them.
Now, Frank, maybe you could talk, because this is fairly interesting to me too. Was in the beginning, the local people passed the case on to the feds, and then the feds passed it back to the local people. I found that was fairly interesting part of the story.
So I don't know. So I hesitate to talk about that because that was day 2, and the government was shut down, and so it's hard. I don't have enough information to comment on that in too much depth. But there was talk that the DEA was going to take the lead, and then they wanted to push it back down to the state and the county. But that said, I don't have the details of why that discussion was going on. I wasn't in the room, so I hesitate to speculate on why that information trickled out to us and what was driving it.
Okay, but we were told, that in the beginning that the start, locally, then switched
correct.
over and then switched back, but no real details in between there.
That's correct. I have a feeling it has something to do with the fact that the government is shut down and they have limited resources, and they wanted to push the responsibility on the state. And then again, it turns out that the state doesn't have the technology required to test the material adequately. But again, I don't know. I'm not involved. I wasn't involved in the decision making. I've just provided information. And to the DEA, to this county's DEA's credit, they have provided an open line of communication with me and the other attorneys. But at the same time, I mean, the core point is getting this material tested using technology that is commonly accepted in the scientific community and used by labs that are accredited or certified by departments of agriculture, and they haven't done that yet. And it needs to be done. And until then, we're going to have a situation where these 4 individuals are being treated unjustly, unconstitutionally, and this material is going to be detained. It's going to be sitting wherever it is sitting. And we all know that how hemp is stored affects the organic chemical composition of the hemp. It can change based on hemp, based on heat, based on temperature, based on a factor and many other elements. And the quicker the resolution, the better off everybody is. And from my perspective, the quickest way to get resolution is to get Oklahoma comfortable with whoever's test. And if it has to be the DEA, and it has to be when the government shutdown ends, from my perspective, that's just a travesty of justice.
Yeah, it is. Guys, she just feels so helpless. Like, I mean, I want to go protest. How far? What part of Oklahoma is Pawhuska?
Is it on this side or that side of
Pawhuska?
Is it 9
hour drive?
Close to Tulsa, about an hour from Tulsa
right now, right? Just driving there.
Yeah.
How long is it to go to where you go?
About 8 hours.
Okay, about the same thing.
Yeah. Depends on whether the cops pull you over for your Colorado license plate or not. That adds sometimes 15 to 20 minutes.
Well, in your case, it was longer than that, wasn't it? Or was it about that long?
I think he was checking my Facebook profile for about 20 minutes. And maybe the overall stop was about 30.
Yeah.
It's what do you do? Just keep getting loud. Everybody, please help spread the word.
Go to the GoFundMe page, whatever you can help with.
GoFundMe link is at the bottom of the description here.
Right.
For this video. We have 4 innocent people sitting in jail for transporting a legal agricultural commodity after doing everything right. And 2 of them are combat veterans, and the fact that they swore to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and then went overseas and put their lives on the line, and now they're sitting in a jail in Oklahoma for a crime that they did not commit. Yeah. It's just disgusting.
But it's kind of the trend that's happening in America, which is scary. I mean, I love America. Don't get me wrong with what I said even earlier. I love America. It's just, I think our liberties are being stomped on.
Yep.
And the government does not, I mean, the people, they're supposed to represent the people, but they're not. They're representing their own. And
Pawhuska.
Yeah,
Pawhuska. Man, that's.
But thanks for being on.
Yeah.
Frank,
any last words?
Anything more pertinent you think about the case, or how it resolves, or what happens if it comes back and it's fully legal? Is there any recourse that you think these guys are going to have from a legal standpoint?
Well, I know there's a lot of hands right now in the cookie jar. I think it behooves the stakeholders. It behooves the stakeholders from the supplier to the buyers to the drivers to make sure we're all on the same page with respect to the most appropriate strategy on getting the material tested in a way that would satisfy the state of Oklahoma. Number one. Number two, I think it also behooves these same stakeholders to consider if there's any civil action, if there are civil actions available to them against the state of Oklahoma and the county, and if so, what are they? And again, just to emphasize, I think we just need to have these discussions among clients and attorneys and discuss what options we may have. That said, a civil action against the state of any state is not going to be cheap. But given the circumstance that we don't know when the government shutdown is going to be over, this could go on for a very long time. I think we should evaluate that option as well.
Well, I just can't say it enough. This is disgusting. It is a travesty of justice. There are 4 innocent people in jail. Yeah. I guess fingers crossed. Is there any reason to be optimistic that something could happen at this thing at 3 o'clock today? That is there any chance to say are bad?
I do not believe that there is a reason to be optimistic at 3 o'clock today.
Yeah, it doesn't appear so. I mean, some kind of Hail Mary maybe, but as of that right now, it doesn't appear so. And I feel bad. I mean, for these guys, it's horrible what's happened. They shouldn't be involved in this situation. We did everything we could paperwork-wise. We got all approvals from the state. State government actually showed back up on the site because of this, and everything checked out. Everything's cleared, and so they're saying there's some kind of conspiracy happening between the time it was picked up to the time they got it in Oklahoma, which makes no sense.
Doesn't that just piss you off?
Yeah,
it really does. Yeah. I mean, you have a border Kentucky state saying it was hemp.
It was all legitimate. It's all paperwork. It's all documented. It's all there. I mean, from the farm, the genetic was approved. We know where it comes from. We know the cloning operation all the way to where it was planted, to where it was harvested, where it was dried. You got all the documentation all the way through.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
have we done a good job of getting the word out today? I can't believe that how many 4 people that we brought on today that with intimate knowledge of this.
Yeah. It's that serious, We had the buyer, the grower, the attorney, and you and I. And the trucking company. Yeah.
Guys that took
everyone who had something to do with it or bought it, we had on, 100% without a shadow of a doubt. Hemp.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. Hemp. You got 4 guys sitting in jail. God only knows what could happen there. All kidding aside, and how long are they going to be there for a crime they didn't commit?
Yeah, you can't give these guys 15 years to life for this. I mean, this is.
It's 7 days now. It shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have been. But a 15. Okay, a couple hours stop.
Right.
Okay, and documentation should have prevailed. You would think, especially after Kentucky saying, but like you said, I think they're going to continually mold this to say it's marijuana in any way, shape, or form. Accusing 4 men of switching it out, I think is just insane.
Well, and Bo said that they have GPS on the trucks.
Yeah,
I'd like to see that. Maybe it was a rolling. Yeah. This already sounds like the beginning to the A-Team or like
Fast and Furious. Didn't they do something side by side? I think it was the train and the cars. They kept them going, but yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being on. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Frank.
I appreciate you guys.
All right. Well, what a show.
Yeah.
Well,
Really
have a good day.
fortunate that, you know.
All right. Thanks, Frank. We'll see.
Have a
care,
good day,
Frank.
everybody. Happy to help anytime.
All right. Look at that.
Yeah.
Skyping fools today.
You did a great job,
You did.
Travis. Yay.
Yeah, we need.
I mean, we had guest after guest
we
after
need
guest.
to get more headphones set up.
Oh, good.
We need a.
Yeah. Well, there was a couple comments I had, but I'm on a 30-second delay. And I remember I laughed at one thing, and you guys are probably, you could have been on something super serious looking at me, but it's like, okay, yeah, well, that laugh was, 30 seconds ago.
Yeah.
But
I wonder how difficult it is.
well, one of his comments about, who in the right mind would ship 18,000 pounds of marijuana to Colorado? I mean, that's just stupidity.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
I mean, that alone, if the law enforcement had any sort of, I don't know. I don't want to bash them anymore. I'm just saying, it's just wrong.
I don't want to bash them. I want to plant a giant field of hemp right across from that police station.
No, why hemp? Let's really do marijuana this time. Marijuana seeds all over their county, all their parks.
No,
Crop duster.
It kind of gets to even a little more funny and convoluted because they're telling us in the beginning that if we had the right paperwork, we could transport marijuana legally through the state.
They were told that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Actually, the cops were like, if you had your tax stamps and you had your paperwork.
The tax stamps.
Yeah, you should be fine. And we're like, but it's
Does
not
Oklahoma have
marijuana.
tax stamps? I could put it up next
There
to
we go.
my Kansas
That's
tax
a Kansas marijuana tax stamp.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
So they were telling the truth.
Yeah, they told us if we had these tax stamps that we would be fine, that we could transport marijuana. We're like, but it's not marijuana.
Yeah.
It's hemp. We don't have to have these things.
That's right.
But that's what they were like. No, there's actually legal to transport marijuana through Oklahoma with the right documentation.
Is it really?
That's what they said.
Wow. I bet they won't admit that now. But yeah, that's just a shame. It really is. And I know for a fact, we're representing Panacea, they've hurt us tremendously on our production. Tremendously.
Yeah.
I mean, we're running, 100,000 plus every day almost of soft gels alone. Forget all the other products that we're manufacturing at the same time. Everything's at a standstill now. It's been at a standstill. It's costing the owner of Panacea hundreds of thousands of dollars. I don't know if it's every day or every week. I can tell you it's costing them tons of money.
It cost our company a ton of money too, not just in legal fees, but in loss of business and slowing things down. I mean, it's racking up hundreds of thousands of dollars every day.
And if it sits there for another month or two, the hemp is just going to be. It's not going to be a hemp that was purchased, and someone's going to. We'll have to see.
Yeah,
18,000 pounds. How many acres in Kentucky? How many acres of hemp would that 18,000 pounds represent? Like,
I'd say 10.
10 acres.
Yeah.
18,000 pounds.
Yeah.
About let's say 10 to 12 maybe.
Hear that, Kansas?
But
that's coming later. I didn't get a complaint about the Kansas Department of Agriculture. Like, they are ruining the hemp program in that state. They're making it very, very difficult to justify growing hemp there this year. It's they have to if you have like a let's say an attachment on your tractor that you're using to plant hemp or to harvest it or something, and it breaks, the repair guy has to go through a national background check, Kansas Bureau of Investigation background check, get fingerprinted.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Yeah, I got permits in 5 states this year. I had 3 or 4 background checks. And
wow.
I had to go to actual police stations in each state, and supply information to them.
Well, these guys are used to growing corn. They're just like,
choice
words.
I still cannot wrap my head around. Oh, sorry. I still cannot wrap my head around Oklahoma grew hemp this year.
Yeah, they grew hemp this year. They harvested.
How was it tested? How was it? I don't care if it's a third-party test. Who tested it? Or are they growing marijuana and allowing it? Who knows? There's got to be a company there that is licensed to test hemp.
You would think so, but again, maybe like I said, they had the cart before the horse, and they allowed you to grow it this year without having the protocols in place to do the testing, and they probably just let it slide the first year. I don't know.
Oh my!
It makes no sense to me that they have a hemp program, and they should understand that what hemp is and have a way to test it and differentiate it, and they haven't been able to do that.
Yeah.
Now I can say good morning, you guys.
Oh, we're still on.
We're still on.
Yeah. You can still say good
That's
morning.
Julie. We love her.
Thank you, everybody, for joining. We had a huge audience.
Sorry we can't get back to some people.
Yeah, it's the link to the GoFundMe page. Yeah, I can't even read the. I've got it pulled up on this bar monitor. I've got to get some glasses, or maybe some binoculars from this distance. But the link to the GoFundMe page for the we need a name for him. The Pawhuska 4. Oh, shoot.
And please share this. I've never asked on the show, okay? But please share this segment with everyone you know. Yeah. This is something that, it's going to take, the hemp and CBD family to help support and get these guys out of jail for a crime they didn't commit.
Yeah.
So please go to the GoFundMe page. Share this with everyone you know. We would really appreciate it. It's not for us. It's for 4 innocent guys sitting in jail.
People with families.
Yeah.
Veterans.
Yeah. That pisses me off.
It pisses me off too.
It's just.
That's the worst part of it all. I mean, the money's one thing and the business is one thing, but taking people's lives away from them.
Yeah, absolutely. And two of them, put their life on the line for, I don't know if it was 4 years, 8 years or whatever, or 20 years. I have no idea. But put their life on the line for our country, and we throw them in jail, and they're for no reason. Yeah. I mean, not justified to us. That's for sure. Yeah. It's really easy. The DEA, the damn sheriff there, all he has to do is put some of that hemp in his car, come over here, go to Botanicor or any testing lab here in Colorado, have a bunch of witnesses. Yeah. It's over. But you know what? That's too easy, too simple, and it will show that they're wrong.
Even then, I'd say take at least 3 different testing labs because they'll still be different.
Yeah, sure.
But thank you everybody for joining.
Thank you so much. Please share it.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for your time.
Great show.
Getting the word out there.
Thanks
for making all this news for us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I'll tell you guys on Thursday we've got speaking of veterans, we've got Matt Kale from Veterans for Natural Rights coming in with me and Julie, and he's a fascinating guy. He's done a lot of films. It's really looking forward to that. So we'll see you for Matt Kale Thursday afternoon.
Tune in.
Who's coming? Do you know who's coming next Tuesday?
Yeah. I forget now. You know what?
When's Vicente Fox coming?
Oh, you know what? I was just on the phone with him for 2.5 hours the night we were together.
Oh man,
how's that help this show?
I know. You know what? We'll have him on. Well, we will have him on in the next 6 weeks.
Okay.
I'm calling Juan Garcia. He's the right-hand man of Vicente Fox. I sit on the board for the Canamex 2 in April. So yes.
There we go.
We'll pull him in. Absolutely.
There we go.
Thanks everyone. Right. Have a great day.
We'll see you.
Yeah, mine too. It sucks to tell people